Hi there, welcome to the garden. My name's Alicia and I live in garden on 1 acre in more of a suburban area in western Pennsylvania. Now in our area, typically we can start planting, guideline is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I haven't had great luck on my current property with getting peas to germinate, so this year I decided to hold off. We're right at the end of March. It is a warm but rainy day, and here's one of the things I love about how I garden here in Western PA. If you look around my garden, what I have is somewhat raised beds, covered with a deep mulch, typically kind of broken down leaves, that kind of thing. And I do no-till. So it's a rainy day. I couldn't have run a rototiller today if I wanted to till a garden. And I only want to plant a small amount of space. So I soaked my peas for the last, they've been in the water about 24 hours. Just drained them just because it's a little easier to come out here and plant. And this is kind of a raised bed that we have down the center of the garden. And we've got a trellis already in place. So all I'm going to do here is just right down the center, small hole, and fill. A little ways over from that. So there's no need for any fancy equipment. I could use my garden shovel if I so chose. So we're just going to do one row of peas right down the center of this bed. And that's why I love no-till gardening and raised garden beds. That was maybe 5 or 10 minutes. The peas are in. I did get a shovel out. I didn't use it. I just used my hand. So I'm done with that portion. I'm gonna go check on the chickens, gather the eggs, check their food and water, and time to head in. I want to see the last quarter of the basketball game that's on right now. So we've got one of two things happening. I found like a really soft egg a few days ago, and so there's a broken egg in here. But here's my concern. That right there looks like a beak mark. So I'm somewhat concerned that we have, bird just landed there. I'm somewhat concerned that we have a chicken that's eating eggs. And that's kind of a problem because there's a broken shell. Nope, that's not for you. In here. Right there. So somebody's eating eggs, which from what I understand, once they start, you can't get them to stop. The one thing I can do maybe is put some fake wooden eggs in there so that when they try to peck them, it's harder and doesn't break, and then that maybe will break them. So that might need to be something that we do. You stay out of there, little goldie. Because we can't have them eating eggs. There's too much money and time investment in structure, feed, and caring for them to be eating their own eggs and taking them out of our refrigerator. We manage our chickens on deep bedding during the cooler months. We're really close. It's time to actually move them out to their mobile coop. We just haven't gotten there this weekend. But a lot of times I'll come out in here and turn the bedding with my fork, especially when it's wet. It turns up lots of worms. Right now all the chickens are gathered around me squawking and hoping that I get the fork out. So here, I'll show you. All right, so peas are taken care of, chickens are checked. Just wanted to do a loop through the backyard, show you some of the cool things that are happening right now. The magnolia tree is opening up. We were able to find a property where somebody had just planted so many things, actually too many things. There's been times we've had to tear things out just because we can't maintain all this. We don't have the time. And things were just planted a little too close in some spaces, but there is just so much here that brings so much beauty to our backyard. The wisteria is starting to bloom. Daffodils up. We have a raspberry patch that was here when we moved in. That's usually coming in June. We'll start getting quite a few raspberries from that. Beautiful, yeah, raspberries. We have these beautiful daffodils as well. And there's also 5 maple trees on this property. We've been tapping our maple trees since 2021. Each season has brought us 1.5 gallons to 5 gallons of syrup. I'll show you what we got this year. All right, so hiding back here in the corner is our syrup for this year. There's our quart jars. Here's the little guy. Our syrup got really dark really fast this year. Like, this almost looks like molasses. So this was like the end of the season. Here is like the beginning of the season. So it kind of normally does that. Gets darker as the season goes on. But outside of maybe just the very, very last batch, I don't think we had any that's been this dark before. But that right there is 4 gallons of syrup from our backyard, 5 maple trees from about January 20th until I think the second week of March is when we pulled our taps. Okay, welcome inside. This year I'm doing an experiment with my potatoes. What I'm doing is I'm rooting them. I laid the potatoes in a shallow tray of soil, and then we're letting them grow. Look at those roots. And some of these I already popped off, so took the root and the plant off the potato and then put in a pot of soil. Now this one right here is one that's not quite as far along. The potatoes are just starting to come up, the plant. Again, let's see, can I show you? Look at those roots from underneath. I'm just using like some old salad green containers that we had from the grocery store. So what I'm gonna do is take these couple plants here. We're gonna pop them off and put them in some soil to let them start growing. These I did not take off that long ago, and they have grown and branched out beautifully. I would like to say this is an experiment. I have not had great potato yields, so I heard, loosely I'm modeling this after something I heard on the No-Till Growers podcast. I don't know if that I'm following it to a T, so full disclosure, don't put all of your eggs in this basket. Don't follow exactly what I'm doing if it's really important for you to have a large potato yield, because this is something I kind of listened to while I'm cleaning the kitchen. It sounded like a cool idea. We're giving it a shot this year. Okay, so again, strictly as an experiment. I'm going to kind of continue just as it throws off healthy looking plants with good root development. Take those off, pot them in some soil. Again, get them used to being outside, hardened off and ready, used to the sun. Drop them in the garden probably mid-April, so we've got another couple weeks, and then harvest and see what our yield looks like this year. Okay, so these are some, I think, Yukon Golds maybe, but look at, there's a ton of root to this plant right here. So I'm just going to break that off the potato. So all of that green and all of that root comes off. Which I have to say, I wasn't quite banking on that amount of root. All right, so changing plans, took the pots out completely. I'm just gonna set that in right here. And we're gonna put some soil in there. Now I am going to take one more off. We'll see if we can get this one into a pot. These are seeming very robust here. Let's see, can you see what I'm doing? Yep. So I'm going to take this one off, and I'm just trying to, it's kind of similar concept to how you grow sweet potato slips. Get those roots down in there like that. Hang on. All right, so I need to set that somewhere. We need to water that in pretty well. All right, last thing I want to show you. This right here behind these curtains, which is at the end of our living room, is our growing space, get our plant starts going. Now, we have way too many plants. My husband's giggling in the background. Way too many plants for a single garden going here. Maybe if you had more space than we do, it would work just fine. I go overboard. It's something I've accepted and embraced. But also my daughter is selling the plants kind of as, this year is going to be a joint, her summer job / she's also going to donate some of the funds to the Humane Society, like her little kind of pet project, no pun intended. So we've got probably about 40 pepper plants up there. Here I've got the heat mat back here, so we're getting some tomatoes started. There's some herbs here. I forget what I started there. I'd have to look at the labels. We have some basil here along with some sweet potatoes getting started. More peppers, more peppers. These trays, this plastic tray here, those are all for my daughter. So that one, this one, we've got a couple different kinds of basil here. This one's her peppers as well. The backs are peppers, and then we have some little baby eggplants here. Talking. We start a ton of plants in the space. It may not be the most attractive thing to have in the end of your living room. We use the curtains just to block the light from blinding us as we're trying to hang out and relax in the living room. But utility shelf, shop lights, also very important, a fan to make sure that your plants learn to kind of stand up against a wind and make them stronger. And that's all we need.